What's up? What's up? What's up? That's the foolishness. That's the foolishness. That's the foolishness I'm talking about right there. Just ridiculousness. Okay, anyway. Hey there. Hey, how you doing? How are you? Hey. What's going on? Yeah, it's no, what? I don't know. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Walk Live. Listen, for all you who've been rocking with me since day one, you know I love you. You know. Heart. And for all of you who are new, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you like what you see and what you hear. And if so, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, leave me a comment, do all the things. I'll give you a moment. Just for those of you who are like, I know I'm about to like her. I know I'm about to like all of this stuff. Like, I'm going to give you a second to go ahead and push that subscribe button because I know. What do I know? I don't know. I really don't know what I'm saying. I'm gonna give you a second. I'm not gonna be rude. No, I'm not rude. You know what I'm saying? Like, give you a second. Go ahead. Like, push it. You really pushed it. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the family. And you guys, listen, my name is Sakima. I post on this channel every Tuesday. And what do I post? I post different nuggets, different lessons that God has given me along my journey. And they've helped me chip away at some of the barriers in my path. And my hope is that these lessons will help you as well. And also, I post life. From time to time, you'll see me vlogging and doing different things. And as time goes by, as God gives me all those creative things, then I will be adding different things to my channel. You never know what you're going to see here. Sometimes I'm vlogging. Sometimes I'm doing different interviews, like with my son. And I hope to do interviews with more people in the future. And yeah, just all kinds of things. I like to say that when you come to this channel, you are definitely going to find inspiration. You're going to find laughter. And you're going to find life. All right? So if that's what you came for, then you're in the right place, honey. Yeah. All right, y'all. So before I even get started, if you hear a dog barking out there, that's like my neighbor's dog. They got a new dog. I don't know what's happening out there. Like, I really don't know what's happening. It's something is bothering him, and he's not having it. Also, if the sound is different at all, y'all, I have no idea what is going on. Like, the sound with this computer, it seemed to have done something weird. Like, I did a different video besides this one, before this one. And I had not posted it yet. I planned to, but then the Lord gave me something else, and so now I'm recording this one. But on that one that I recorded, I realized that I can barely hear myself on there. So I went ahead and plugged my mic back in. I haven't been needing to use it. You know, the mic that I was so happy about, the one that I posted about a while back when I got it. I haven't been needing to use it since I've gotten this new computer. But I don't know, it seemed to have started doing the same thing that the other one did, which is just, it started sounding so low. So anyway, I don't know what it is. You know, I'm not the greatest with technology, so I have no idea what's going on. Everything's fine. So, for this particular video, I am going to be reading, for the most part, because the way that God had this spilling out of me, where I was just writing, it's just way too much to be trying to paraphrase and things like that. I feel like I'll get lost in that, and it just won't be as effective. So I'm going to be reading for the most part, but you'll still be right here with me. We're still going to be having our conversation. I know how much you guys like it. I prefer it that way, to do the conversation, but a lot of times, I still love my notes because it keeps me on track. And this is like a long note. I promise you're going to get something out of it. So stay with it. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to be talking about these benefits, benefits, and why we need to remember that it's for our good. We get something out of this. This may be a little controversial. I really didn't even think of it that way, but you'll understand when I begin, or maybe I'll explain it. Okay, anyway. So what I want to start off with doing is reading some scripture. I like to do that. And I'll read some scripture throughout when I'm speaking to you as well. I just want you to have this on your mind as I'm reading, so that, things can start clicking and this can start coming together in your mind as well. The first scripture I'm going to read is Romans 8:18. Says, I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that is to be revealed in us, or to us. I am going to read Romans 5:3-4 next. Romans 5:3-4. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. The next one I'm going to read is Romans 8:28. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. I want to read this little excerpt from a site called fh.org. It says, the promise of Romans 8:28, that God works for our good in all things, is reassuring. It means that no matter the circumstance, there are only two qualifiers for God to be working all things together for our good. First, he works for the good of those who love him. If you love God, you can trust that he is working for your good. He loves you back, and when we love people, we seek their welfare. Second, he works for those who are called according to his purpose. Do you realize that following God entails submitting to his purpose for you? You have been called by him for a purpose, and he holds for your life. That was just a little excerpt that went along with that verse. All right. The last verse I'll read for now is Jeremiah 29:11. Also another familiar verse. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. So let's begin. Y'all know I got my little notes here. All right. So it says, it's for your good. Sometimes we get so focused on doing the will of God because he said so, and we forget that his instructions are not just pleasing to him, it is also for our good. Going the opposite direction of his will is not only going to hurt God, it is going to be detrimental to our lives. It's going to be detrimental to our development, our sanity, our peace of mind, our family, etc. It's not just hurtful to God, it's also a horrible idea. The issue with continuing to do things just because God said so, here's the controversial part, is that sometimes not recognizing the personal benefit of doing something makes us more likely to let someone down because it's for them and not exactly for us. We can be selfish in that if it doesn't benefit me, I'm not as motivated to comply. But now, if I have an invested interest and something of mine is involved, now I'm a bit more motivated to take this seriously. We see this concept in business. Oftentimes during a discussion about deciding whether or what to charge for something in business, the experienced business leaders have said that it is good to charge a good amount for things, because when people put their money in something, it makes them take it seriously. They think twice about flaking on that self-help course, or that membership, or mistreating that residential property, or that purchased item. Or you may see it this way, where there is a sign posted somewhere that says, you can use this, but if you mess it up, you have to pay for it. And listen, the Lord knows how we are. He knows we can be selfish people. This is why He allows us to experience things that we deem unpleasant. Those unpleasant experiences encourage us to stay on the right side of the tracks, or stay out of the street. We as parents do the same thing. We talk till we're blue in the face to our kids about not doing this and not doing that. But when we realize that our kids need more motivation to stay out of trouble or to handle their responsibility, we pull back and allow them to get burned, so to speak. Now that child has an invested interest in staying out of trouble. So I'm not just staying out of trouble for my parents. I also have this scar from being burned, and I don't want to be burned again. So just as it is with God, it's not that children don't love their parents enough to do right simply because they said so. It's that all of us have an enemy who is warring for our lives, and sometimes that gets the best of us. Another thing I'd like to point out is that consequences encourage us to build an authentic relationship with God instead of an empty transactional relationship with God. We have become so good at surface life. Surface living, got it done. We good. Meaning we somehow can make it through years without making authentic efforts in relationships, or in jobs, in charitable scenarios, in marriages, etc. We skate through life as if we are checking off items on a list. There is no real investment. We see a homeless person and we nearly do a drive-by with our dollar bills. No real investment. Someone asks, how have things been going? And before they even finish asking the question, we have in our minds what we are going to answer. We say, good. Yeah, everything's good. Sometimes we even begin searching for words that appear to go below the surface to satisfy the person's inquiry. We might say, Sarah just began dance class, and Johnny just began baseball. Yeah. But those are just fillers meant to fill the space that was made for us to be transparent. See, we don't want to get transparent. We need something to fill that space up with so they'll be satisfied. They ask the question. We got to answer the question. What can I find here let me just find some things to fill this space. And I get it. Many of us have a lot of sensitive areas inside us, and we are doing everything we can to make sure we don't fall apart, to make sure we continue to function as and be seen as someone who is not falling apart. Everything is fine. Surface life is how we cope. So I get that we don't want to go there, to that sensitive place. I agree that there is a time and place and person for that. We can't possibly go deep at every point in our lives with every single thing, with every hello, how are you? We can't go deep. We would probably be like, we wouldn't be able to function. We wouldn't be able to live because we would constantly be reminded of those sensitive spaces. And like I said, I get it. There is a time and a place and a person for that. So this is where we have to do some real evaluation. Here we have the creator of the entire universe, the one who breathed life into our bodies and the one who sustains us and our loved ones day in and day out, who takes the time to guide us through his word and his spirit, and we are still living surface life with him. If there is a time, a place, and a person for those deep places in us, how is it not God? How is it not with God? If ever we needed to take advice and words and hold tight to them, explore them and study them and seek understanding of them, it's with God. Let's read Matthew 6:5-8. And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray, standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. This is Jesus asking the multitudes and the disciples to come into an authentic relationship and leave the surface life alone. That superficial stuff, don't even bother with it. I want you to make this an authentic thing. Make a true investment here. This is one relationship that is worth putting all of your energy into, because there is nothing that God sends out that returns void. If God tells us something, it means something. It's going to happen. It's going to yield fruit. And it's not for him, it's for you. It's for us. And its effects stretch far beyond the moment he tells us. Do you know that whatever God tells you is going to have effects that go far beyond you? Whatever he instructs you to do or say is going to go further than you can imagine. You can rest assured that even if you have zero ideas of why the instructions God gave you are even relevant, they still absolutely are. He is the one who knows all and sees all and loves us beyond our comprehension. You still not convinced? God knew how we would think. That's why he met us on our level, and he made the investment in us when he died for us. God knew that we determine value by sacrifice. How much are you willing to pay for that thing? That's how we determine value. Talk about a transactional relationship. You want to see a transaction? How about my life for yours? That's what God says. He says, I love you. What do I have to do to get you to place your hand in mine? To trust that I am committed to leading you in the right direction. Let's read Numbers 23:19. Numbers 23:19. Numbers 23:19 says, God is not human that he should lie, not a human being that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? God says, it's not that I am looking to be pleased. It's that I'm pleased to be looking after you. I'm pleased to know you are safe and not being destroyed and taken advantage of by the enemy. This is for your good. God is the source, not a resource. This means he doesn't have to or need to go to other sources to be satisfied or replenished. People come to him for that, but he never has and never will have to do that. Why am I saying this? Because I want you to change your perspective so that you can overcome. I want you to understand that whatever God puts out or instructs is never for him. You may have to look closely, but you will see that all along there was something he was trying to do in me and in you. His instructions to us are meant to produce something in us. The next time you read something in your word where God has asked or instructed someone to do something, whether it be a simple ask or a seemingly preposterous ask, I want you to ask yourself, God, what were you trying to do in that person? What were you trying to produce in them? What were you up to? Because I assure you, it is for their good. So I hope that made sense to you. We need to understand that although doing what God instructs, it does please Him. It pleases God. But that's not all there is. Understand that when God asks you to do something or not do something, or asks you to do something this way, and you know, you might feel like, oh my goodness, Lord, you're just taking all the fun out of everything. Trust that it is for your good. Right now, I'll testify. God has me in a place of isolation, a place where He is hiding me until He is ready to release me. And there are certain things within this place and in this time that I cannot do. And it gets extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. One, because I have not been used to doing this before, or participating in this type of discipline before, or this type of denying of self before. And so it's just foreign to me. And then two, because I'm human with flesh. Definitely have His Spirit in me though. So my flesh is not getting the best of me. I can now use it to my advantage. Meaning I can take whatever I go through and allow it to produce something in me. I can take this and say, wow, I'm going to use this to help somebody else. I'm going to suffer to help someone else. I'm going to suffer for my future, for everything that I hope to have or be or do in the future. Like, for whatever it is that God has called me to do, we're gonna use these things to our advantage. We're going to use this for our future, for good, to do something that impacts somebody, to show someone that we can use these things to not cause more damage, to not wreak havoc in my life or in others' lives, or, you know, not to revert to who I used to be, to show someone else that this is possible. So that's what I mean by use things to our advantage. But that's really what I wanted to say. You know, we've got to recognize that when God tells us to do something, as much as we don't want to do it, as much as we feel like, this is just, you know, an outside influence telling me to do something that, you know, I don't want to do, we need to rest in the fact that it is still for our good, and that certainly going the opposite direction of what we've been instructed is going to be bad. It's no longer going to be something that someone else thinks is bad. It's going to be something that we feel is bad. We're going to experience that thing, and we're going to regret what we did. Okay, so I just want to, you know, help us to remember that part of it. We get so caught up sometimes in just doing it because God said to do it. Oh, the Lord gonna do it. He gonna get us, you know, He gonna get me. Like, really? I'm sorry. That was a judgmental, really. But what I'm saying is, it is for us. It is for us, okay? It only seems like it is a party pooper for the moment, but it is really for us. This is for our good, because what is over there, you don't want to see it. That's nothing you want to meet. You don't want to meet up with that, what's on the other side. You don't want to meet up with the alternative. You don't, okay? Look at people who have done it before you, and there are plenty more witnesses out here. And I have to be my own witness sometimes. God allowed me to go through certain things for the future me. So now this me is looking back at that me like, oh yeah, you testifying, girl. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't fun. You didn't like that. We don't like that. I'm just wanting to remind you of that part of it. Don't look so heavily on the fact that, oh, God's asked me to do something else I don't want to do, or he's told me that I can't do something else. But look at the fact that this is for your good. That there's a benefit in there for you. Okay? So, I hope that helps somebody. You know what I always say? My journey with God has been just that, a journey. One that I know I was called to share with you all. And so I just want to thank you for joining me week in and week out on the walk live.